Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Betting Truth Super Stream. Back on our Wednesday night. As you can see, as I talked about in last week's stream, I ran the Cowtown Marathon on Sunday. I got my medal. I got my finisher shirt right here, Marathon Finisher. I'm proud of myself, so I'm going to open the stream by bragging about that. What an incredible experience. It was totally amazing. I'm so glad I did it. My goal is to do it in under 4 hours, and I did it in 3.5. So I beat my goal time by about 30 minutes. I finished in 80th place overall out of like 1,300. So, I mean, for a first time, that's pretty good. And I'm, proud of myself. But, the one thing that really stood out to me was just how quickly it went by. Usually when I'm doing my long runs during the 4 months of training I did, it just felt like time went by kind of slow, but time flew by. And I also did it on no sleep. I did not get a single second of sleep the night before, and I still pulled it off. So, you know what? I'm proud of myself. But anyway, enough bragging about my marathon. I just thought I'd start the stream off and let everyone know that I did finish it. And what I want to do next, I want to do an Ironman triathlon. I really do. The only issue is that it's expensive. You have to buy the bike and the equipment and the gear. Hypothetically, I would do Ironman Texas in April of 2023, so I still have over a year to go for that. But anyway, that is that. So Monday started for me is two of my favorite weeks of the year on the sports calendar. The past couple of years, it's been ruined. We really haven't had a normal championship week for college basketball since 2019. Really no major conference tournament games have been played yet. Really last place teams in low major conferences have played play-in games so far. I think there's a couple 1 seeds in play right now with Bryant and Wagner in the Northeast Conference are playing tonight, but they are playing bad teams, and last I checked, both of them are up by a lot. So but really, usually things get going on Friday, where you have the Missouri Valley quarterfinals getting underway, semifinals in the Ohio Valley Conference. But I love Champ Week. That's something I used to do. I used to go to conference tournaments as like kind of a vacation. I haven't been to one since the Missouri Valley in 2018. And I probably won't be going to one this year, but I love Champ Week almost as much as I love March Madness, just because I think Champ Week has more games going on, a lot more, and a lot of drama with the low major leagues. So I've always said it's the 10 of the most, 2 of the most exciting weeks in the sports calendar, but things should really start getting underway on Friday. I might do a stream like I did last year on that Saturday before Selection Sunday, and I'm definitely going to do a Selection Sunday stream again. That was my most watched live stream of all time, and I will do that again. Just you got to repeat that. But yeah, so if anybody has any college basketball betting that they want to talk about, fire away, because I think that is something that I would love to talk about right now. Speaking of which, my school, TCU, will be going to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time in my life. I'm excited for that. We beat Texas Tech and Kansas in back-to-back games. I didn't go to either game. I go to a lot of our road games, but the home game ticket prices the last 2 games, $250 to get in against Texas Tech and probably $125 to get in last night. It's not like I'm poor. I could afford it. It's just I don't want to drop that kind of coin. I'll just watch it on TV. I remember gone are the days where I could go to TCU basketball games by buying a ticket for $2 on StubHub. Those days are gone. Yeah, prop bets are a lot of fun when it comes to betting conference tournaments because I had success on that in 2020 before they started shutting everything down. With my Monte Carlo simulations. That's where I've made my money last year in the NCAA tournament, was who will advance farther props, regional props, everything like that. So, and for those of you who remember the live stream last year during Baylor Gonzaga, and I went all in on Baylor, and I just totally raked it in on that live stream to put me up for the season. But anyway, college basketball it's March, so that is the topic. I know the NBA is going on, I know the NHL is going on, but March is not their month. People forget about those 2 sports during March. So March is all about college basketball, and with MLB being canceled opening day first 2 weeks, come on, baseball. Did you guys learn nothing from 1994? Did you learn nothing from 1994? And here we go, canceling the first two series of the season. I'm a Texas Rangers fan, and I know our one and only home series of the season against the New York Yankees was one of the two series canceled, and the other one being a once every 6-year trip to Miami to play the Marlins. So I feel bad for Rangers fans living in South Florida who are looking forward to that. But anyway, come on, baseball. What are you guys doing? Seriously. Millionaires and billionaires fighting it out. Can you guys not come to an agreement? But I'm hearing that the Dodgers are holding up a lot of this. So anyway. No, I'm not. Jonah Mickelson, I'm not going to be able to I just haven't put together a model this year for college basketball to do things like that, unfortunately. So I won't be able to do that this year. So Ottawick has a good quote. Will I be in the paper for not going to the games? I mean, the reason I don't buy season tickets for TCU basketball is because I've always just bought them on the secondary market. Because like I said, you can buy them for like $2 on StubHub for pretty much every TCU basketball game. So I never bought, and plus I haven't lived here in Fort Worth since, 2013, so it's been 8 or 9 years since I've had the chance to buy season tickets, and I just didn't do that this year because that's how it's always been. I'll just go to the secondary market, or people I know will give me tickets. I know a lot of people will give me tickets, but for Texas Tech and Kansas, that was not going to happen. I've been to a lot of other games this year, though, but not those two. The demand was too high. Zayn FN wants to know, for your NCAA basketball models, where did you get play-by-play stats for not televised games? I didn't use play-by-play data in my college basketball model. I know KenPom does, but he pays for that data, a lot of money for that data. And Bart Torvik, he's just a master computer genius, which I am not. So that's how he's able to do what he does. So anyway, Diet Crack wants to know if I ever watched Australian rules football. I have not. I remember hearing ads for like a Australian rules football team here in the DFW area maybe 10 years ago. They were called like the Dallas Magpies or something, but obviously I don't hear ads for that anymore, so I'm guessing it didn't last very long. But no, I have not watched Australian rules football. I'm surprised they're even letting them play Australian rules football in Australia right now with all the draconian tyrannical COVID mandates and throwing people in concentration camps that they are doing in Australia. So I'm surprised that they do that. Yeah, I agree with Keith Davis. Baseball's my favorite pro sport. It's really the only. I'm watching more and more hockey these days, but MLB has been the only pro sport I've consistently watched my entire life. I love baseball, and it makes me upset that this is what's happening. Really, it's stupid. Like, what are they doing? Yeah. Moopert wants to know, how often do you recommend adjusting your bet size in proportion to changes in your bankroll? I've always said err on the side of caution. I talked about this on a stream a few weeks ago. It's better to be cautious than, how do I put it? So when my college basketball second half betting model last year was hitting like 65%, and I was like, I need to increase my unit size because I'm hitting 65% right now. I'm leaving money on the table. And I increased my unit size. I double it. I think I was betting $200 a game, and I increased it to $400, right? And I went like 7-16 the night I did that, right? And I pretty much wiped out a lot of the gains I had made up to that point. I would rather leave money on the table with a conservative bankroll and unit size than bet too much and lose more than you should have. I've been on both sides. I've felt like, man, I should have bet more, and I've also felt like, man, I bet too much. I would much rather be in the, man, I should have bet more shoes any day of the week, because that feeling in your stomach when you bet too much and you're like, crap, I lost too much money, I should have done that. That's a lot worse than, man, I won, but I should have bet more. I could have won more. Trust me. Easily. So always be conservative with your bet size proportions. I always keep it at 1-2% at the very most. Yeah, live betting is based on play-by-play. So what I did last year when I was doing live betting is I pulled the API feed from ESPN, the play-by-play feed from ESPN using a Excel Power Query. You guys saw me do it last year. Jonah Mickelson wants to know what IDE to use when coding in Python. I use Spider. K Bono, have you made video about Monte Carlo models? Yes, I have. Just search my channel for Monte Carlo. Comic Kiss, Jews for Jesus. Will you join? Well, I'm not Jewish. Yep. Zane FN, MLB model this season. I have no plans right now. I have no plans to get back into sports betting modeling anytime soon. I don't really miss it. I don't miss the day-to-day stress. I don't miss stressing about data sources and the day-to-day. Like, my baseball model probably took 30 to 45 minutes every day to update and then generate predictions for. Every day. Imagine getting up every morning and having to spend 30 to 45 minutes updating a model. I automated as much as I could, but there's some things you just cannot automate. Comic Kish wants to know, is the Ukraine war fake? I don't see any bodies. No, Connor McRae, I'm waiting for more people to join before I talk about the BetRivers drama, because it's going to be good. Let me talk about Ukraine real quick. I think Comic Kish is making good points. We are undergoing a massive propaganda psyop campaign in this country when it comes to Ukraine. So if you've noticed, all the major players are with the Stand With Ukraine hashtag. The same people who put mask up on their Facebook and social media profiles 2 years ago at this time are the same people putting I Stand With Ukraine and Ukraine flags in their social media profiles today. We are going through a massive propaganda campaign right now. Here, this is what it's all about. I believe that the decision has already been made to send United States armed forces into Ukraine to fight Russia. I believe that decision has already been made. The problem is that polling showed that was not popular. That I remember seeing one poll showing that by a 2-to-1 margin, Americans opposed that. So that is why we are seeing this massive propaganda campaign right now, one-sided reporting. All the players like George Soros, Hillary Clinton, every single media outlet, all the cable news networks, everybody, big tech, Madison Avenue, Hollywood, they're all aligning right now to push this poor Ukraine, feel sorry for Ukraine, stand with Ukraine propaganda on us. They're pushing that on us right now, and it's like, okay, why? And I think the why is to shift public opinion, to support the deployment of American troops to Ukraine to fight Russia. That's what I think it's all about. And I saw a Rasmussen poll yesterday showing that 49% of Americans now support military action in Ukraine. So they're almost at a majority, 49%. And they broke it out by income. The more wealthy one was, the more likely they were to support a war in Ukraine using American troops. And that's easy. It's because the wealthy aren't the ones dying in these wars. It's the poor and the sons of working class blue-collar men that die in wars. So it's no wonder the wealthy support war so much, because they're not the ones who are going to die in it. But that's what this is all about. It's all about using the drumming up public support for the United States military to get involved in Ukraine, because they don't want a bunch of anti-war protests. And it's also about protecting Ukraine, because Ukraine for a decade was the epicenter of money laundering, foreign corruption. It was like a foreign policy playground for all the dirty players like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, John McCain. All the dirty neocons and corrupt individuals use Ukraine as a massive money laundering operation. It was the global epicenter of money laundering, Ukraine was. And they want to protect that. You saw that Congress wants to send $6.5 billion of foreign aid to Ukraine. You want to know why they want to do that? Because it's going to do one giant loop-de-loop back to Washington, D.C. and go into the pockets of the politicians that voted on that bill. That's how the foreign aid scam works, and Ukraine was ground zero for that type of scam. Washington politicians would vote to send foreign aid, billions of dollars of aid to Ukraine, and then Ukraine would take a cut and kick it back to the DC politicians. It was a giant scam. That's what Donald Trump got impeached over. He got impeached because instead of giving Ukraine aid in the terms of money that could be funneled back to the pockets of DC politicians, he instead just straight up gave them weapons systems. The same weapons systems, by the way, that Ukraine right now is using to defend itself or hypothetically defend itself were given to them by Donald Trump. Instead of Donald Trump just giving Ukraine money to buy these things, Donald Trump just cut out the money middleman and gave them the weapons himself. Democrats hated that. And that's why they impeached Donald Trump, because he was ending their grift, their scam in Ukraine. And how did the Ukrainians thank Donald Trump for giving them the weapons that they are using to defend themselves right now? They remained silent on Donald Trump's impeachment, which helped lead to his defeat. And anyway, I'm going to end this subject by reading a tweet that I saw from Viva Frey, who I think summed it up well. It might be a while. It might be a while until I could find it, but I just want to say this whole Ukraine thing makes me mad. If you are on the same side of an issue as Hillary Clinton, George Soros, and Mitt Romney, as well as Hollywood, big tech, and Madison Avenue, you might want to reassess. You might want to ask questions. You might want to say, maybe there's more to this than what I am being brainwashed to believe. But Viva Frey had the best tweet overall in this, and I want to read that, and then I'll move on and talk about BetRivers, because I don't want this to be the Ukraine stream, but it's just nonstop propaganda. Like, I tune into WBAP, which is the local conservative talk radio station here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And the local radio programs, it's just, they might as well be reading from the front page of Reddit, right? They might as well be reading from the front page of Reddit. Just the propaganda is so thick. But it's all about, like I said, protecting the Ukraine money laundering scam and supporting a ground invasion using U.S. troops. All right, here's the tweet from Viva Frey. Russia bad, Ukraine good is the 2022 iteration of 2020's You Want Granny to Die. No nuance, no willingness to understand the nuance of a complex situation, and reflective demonizing of anyone who wants to understand and discuss the nuance, or dares question the mainstream media orthodoxy, or dares point out the strings on the puppets. That's what I have been doing. I've been banned from some websites over the past week or so for doing just that. If you dare point out the strings on the puppets, if you dare question obviously repeated patterns, if you dare question the mainstream media narrative, you are immediately labeled a Vladimir Putin apologist and pro-Russia stooge. No, I'm not. There's more to it than that, and Viva Frey is absolutely right. All right, well, a lot of chat has come in since I went on my rant about Ukraine. Trust me, I'm getting to BetRivers. I'm getting there. I just wanted more people to join before I start talking about that. All right. No one, Danny 505. I do not share my models on GitHub. But I just think Comet Kish made a good point about how we're not seeing footage of like a war that we should be. All right, Zane FN, will you ever post your model spreadsheets for the public? Probably not. Yeah, like Dallas changing its skyline to blue and yellow, Scott K. It's all propaganda. It's all about trying to get people to feel sorry for Ukraine, so people will support sending the U.S. military to go over there and die to protect the deep state's money laundering operation. That's what it's all about. Jonah Mickelson, what scraper would you use to scrape betting lines for multiple sports books? I actually use an Excel plugin called Get Odds. Beautiful Soup is going to be your standard Python method to connect to the internet, but I'm not a strong scraper. There's a reason I've never made a video on scraping before, because I'm not strong at it. It's literally trial and error. Anthony McLanahan, William, you are wrong with Ukraine big time. The war is all about wanting Putin to bring back the USSR. We're going to have to agree to disagree. Yep. All right. I'm getting to the BetRivers thing. I'm just reading the rest of the chat to make sure I don't miss anything before I do that. All right. I'm not gonna ban Comic Kush. This is a free speech channel. I'll ban you if you start dropping like racial slurs or spamming the chat or being generally annoying, but I stand for free speech and not censorship. All right, so the BetRivers story. So, for those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, last December 2020, I had a rep from an advertising agency contact me and want to start plugging BetMGM and BetRivers, which you guys saw in my video for a while, but I stopped doing it because I don't want my channel to be, I'm just not into sponsorships. Guys, I get probably 6 to 10 emails a week from people wanting me to, wanting to sponsor me or plug their product or advertise them. I get so many requests and I turn them all down. I mean, there are never say never, but I feel like if you're sponsored by someone and they're paying you, there's always going to be strings attached, right? I want full freedom to do whatever I want with this channel. I don't want to have to answer to anybody. I don't want to risk making sponsors mad, and that's exactly what has happened here with BetRivers. Now, I probably haven't plugged BetRivers or BetMGM on this channel for months. It's been a long time, and I don't do it anymore. Like I said, I just don't care anymore. I could easily turn this channel into something that makes me a decent amount of money every month if I took up all these sponsorship requests I get in my email every week. But I don't, because that's just not why I do this channel. I do this channel to have fun, to get away from, the day-to-day grind of work and everything. I just feel like having too many sponsors to answer to would just turn this into another job. It would make me feel obligated to do these videos instead of, doing them because I want to. And by the way, the Model 201 series, I've taken the past few days off from everything just because of the marathon. I'm still recovering, so I'll try to get that done soon, the next video on that. But anyway, so I got an email. I hadn't heard from this guy in over a year, by the way, but the guy who originally contacted me to do the BetMGM BetRivers sponsorship back in December 2020, he reached out to me a few days ago. He's a nice guy, by the way. This part of the stream is not attacking him. He's a nice guy. Don't attack he's just the messenger. I'm not attacking him, but he's pretty much the guy who represents the ad agency that works with BetRivers and BetMGM to make the sponsorship happen. Right? So he sent me an email on February 22nd, so last Tuesday. He said, by the way, this guy's very nice. I have nothing against him, so I'm not calling him out. I'm calling BetRivers out here. Hey, William, it's been a while since we last spoke and hope all is well with you. Our contact at BetRivers mentioned that you are speaking negatively about one of their affiliates, Pick Dogs. Would you please remove any mention of BetRivers and their affiliate links from all of your videos? I appreciate your time and cooperation in advance on this matter. And I didn't do anything. I'm like, I do not care enough to go through all my videos and see if I plug BetRivers in them and edit those videos out to remove BetRivers from those videos, nor do I care enough to go through the descriptions of these videos and remove the BetRivers links from those. And so yesterday, he reached back out to me and said, William, any update on this? Because I didn't respond. William, any update on this? We need you to remove those BetRivers affiliate links from your videos ASAP. Absolutely not, BetRivers. You can go double barrel, family friendly middle finger. I am not going to go through my videos and remove mentions of BetRivers. That would be too time consuming. I don't care. And B, I don't care enough to even do the easier route of removing affiliate links to BetRivers in my video descriptions. Not going to happen. So if you have a problem with that, you can go ahead and take legal action. I don't care. But why the hell did you want to partner with me, BetRivers, knowing I built my brand on calling out the likes of pick dogs? Did you not do your research? You are no better than the idiots who email me every week wanting to do partnerships and affiliation deals with me, who are touts themselves. Yes, I get actual touts emailing me who obviously don't watch my videos, right? They obviously don't watch my videos because they email me every week, who are touts, and are like, hey, do you want to do a partnership? And I'm like, do you even watch my videos? So BetRivers, maybe you should have done your research on the types of videos I made before coming to me last year with a sponsorship opportunity. Maybe you should have thought of that. Screw pick dogs. Damn right I'm going to keep calling out pick dogs and all the other tout scum out there. You know, you want to know why BetRivers is really that upset about pick dogs or me calling out pick dogs? It's because touts drive business. Say it again. Touts drive business. Why do you think Westgate, for example, chums up with all the local Las Vegas sports betting touts? Why do you think they're so friendly with them? Touts drive business. Touts advertise about these sure thing, can't lose picks. We are the experts. Use our picks to win lots of money. So all these people buy the picks from the said touts thinking that it's free money. They need a place to go place these bets at. They're going to go to the likes of BetRivers. Touts funnel customers to sportsbooks like BetRivers. They funnel. It's like a funnel. That's how it is. And so that's how the tout affiliation with sportsbook scam works. Pick dogs got really mad when I talked about this on my video. They got so mad. But here's how it works. The Pick Dogs is affiliated with BetRivers, and BetRivers gives Pick Dogs a cut of the losses of the customers they send their way. So if Pick Dogs, for example, is able to get 200 people to sign up at BetRivers, then Pick Dogs will get a cut of the losses from those 200 people. So therefore, touts have no interest at all in giving their clients winning picks because they stand to profit when they lose. So BetRivers, I am sitting here in this chair right now giving you the family-friendly double-barrel middle finger because how dare you try to claim the high ground here with your tout scam, the tout affiliation sportsbook scam. You two, BetRivers and Pick Dogs and all the other tout scammers out there like Wager Talk and Pregame, all the other tout scammers out there that affiliate themselves with sportsbooks and plaster their YouTube channels and websites with sportsbook affiliation links, right? It's a giant scam. These touts have a vested interest in sending losing picks to their customers so they can go to these sports books and lose and get a cut of those losses. I'm exposing the scam on the stream. So BetRivers, if you have a problem, if you really want me to remove all mentions of BetRivers from my videos, like I said, family-friendly double-barrel middle finger to you, and you can take legal action against me. Otherwise, I don't care. And that is what I have to say about that. Not only will I continue to say negative things about Pick Dogs and Wager Talk and all the other scum that you're partnered up with, but I will do it with a smile on my face. That is why I am here. That is why I started Sports Betting Truth to begin with, was to call out the touts that you like to do business with. Man, I've been holding that in because I got that email last week and I was like, Man, I got to save this for the stream. I got to save my reaction to the stream. So we'll see what happens. I would not be surprised if Pick Dogs put BetRivers up to this, because remember Pick Dogs was like, oh, we're going to sue you. We're going to sue you. And they never did. Remember that? I've never got like a legal summons or anything. Right. And so I think Pick Dogs is like, oh, we're going to hurt him by telling BetRivers that he's talking bad about us. No, I don't care. I have not plugged BetRivers or BetMGM for many months. I don't care that I don't make money from that anymore. I don't care. Like I said, that's not why I have this YouTube channel. I don't have this YouTube channel to plaster it with tons of sponsorships and make money off of it. I mean, I'm okay with the ad revenue I get from Google every month. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's a decent amount of change. A few $100s a month it's nice to have, but it's not like anything that is going to be life-changing. It's not something I could live on. But anyway, I haven't read the chat since I went on my rant, so geez. Whew. I was fired up. Oh, man. Whew. Oh, yeah, they can deactivate the links, but they actually want me to go through my videos themselves and edit out mentions, like pre-recorded, uploaded videos on my YouTube channel where I did mention BetRivers. They want me to go through, delete that video, and re-upload the same video without the BetRivers. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. What's in it for me? What if I don't do that? That would obviously take... I probably don't have the original copies of those videos to begin with to edit, so I'd have to find a way to download them, edit them, and re-upload them. You know how time-consuming that would be? That would be so time-consuming. So what do I have to gain? What if I don't do that? No, it wasn't Roar Digital Scott K. Like I said, the guy who sent me this email, he's a nice guy. I'm not calling him out. He's just the messenger. He's just the middleman between me and BetRivers. Yeah, I'm sticking it to them. Besides, doesn't BetRivers limit their customers anyway that aren't even good? Oh man. Oh yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that Pick Dogs ran to BetRivers with this stuff. I don't care. Like I said, Pick Dogs think this is getting me. I don't care. If Pick Dogs paid attention, they would see that I haven't plugged BetRivers in my videos for many months. So once again, Pick Dogs thinks they're getting under my skin and they fail. I don't care. I deleted all footage of last year's March Madness that I recorded. Last year's March Madness was not March Madness. It wasn't. Crowdless venues, socially distanced benches. Ugh. We're finally getting a real NCAA tournament this year for the first time in 3 years. I'm going to enjoy it. But no, absolutely not. I deleted all that. Jonah Mickelson, the problem with Sports Audit Excel plug for me is that I'm in Canada, which isn't an option in the drop-down. So you think you're going to use Beautiful Soup. I mean, that's fine. I'm just not a good scraper. Kbono 100, you asked me last stream what advantage crowdsourced betting could have over market movement. In my opinion, you see the market movement in advance plus a good prediction of the outcome. But a market is crowdsourced betting. That's what a market is. I agree, Mooper. They want me to deactivate all mentions and links to BetRivers. What if I don't do it? Seriously. What's in it for me? Are they gonna sue me if I don't? What are they gonna sue me for? Right? Oh yeah, Comet Kish. I actually agree with Comet Kish. I agree with Comet Kish. COVID is not done yet. Appreciate it, Bucket78. Thank you for what you do. I'm new to betting and have learned a lot from you. That's why I'm here. I try to give out actual advice and not the tout style of advice of, buy my picks and you'll win. There's more to it than that. I mean, that's fine. If Europe wants to use their military to fight Russia, they can knock themselves out. I just don't think it's America's problem. It's two countries on the other side of the world. We should stay out of it. I mean, I'm a Ron Paul isolationist, guys. I believe in Ronald Reagan's. You need to have a strong military. I do believe in a strong military, but I believe it should only be used if the United States is threatened on our soil. So if two countries on the other side of the world are going at it, like, that does not concern the United States here at home, and therefore we should not send the United States military to go over and play world police. I'm against that. But if European countries are threatened by it, then they can use their militaries. Oh, wait, they don't have them because the United States is their military. That's the point Donald Trump made about NATO. And the fact that so many of these European countries don't have militaries because they rely on the United States military for protection allows them to have a lot more social spending programs in their countries that they would not be able to afford if they actually had to pay for and produce their own defense. That's how I see it. I mean, yeah, why would BetRivers have such a problem with me having mentions of BetRivers and links in my videos? Isn't it publicity for them? Yeah, I'm calling out pick dogs. How about this, BetRivers? How about you sever your ties with pick dogs? They lie and scam to people. Why aren't you sending pick dogs emails saying, hey, remove mentions from us from your channels? Oh, it's because you work in hand with pick dogs to prey on losing sports bettors. So BetRivers is nothing more than a scam artist enabler, because I guarantee you pick dogs makes a lot of money from affiliation, the affiliation scam. That's where touts make most of their money. And I think that's what really rubbed pregame the wrong way when that Deadspin article came out about pregame, was the fact that it exposed the affiliation scam. Because that's where it's like multi-level marketing, right? Multi-level marketing. A lot of people think that, companies like Mary Kay, what are some other ones? The multi-level marketing companies. Mary Kay is an obvious one. But everyone thinks that they make their money, Plexus, the people make their money just selling the product to other people. No, they make more money by recruiting people and by selling what are called tools, which are like CDs and motivational speeches and stuff like that, conventions. It's like the same in touting. People think that they make their money from selling picks. Yeah, they make some money from selling picks, but the real money is in the affiliations, sending people to sports books and getting a cut of their losses. That's where the real money is made for touts. That's what they're really in business for, and that's the business they're trying to protect here. And I think that's what BetRivers is worried about, is people like me shining a light on that. Anthony McClanahan, I'm sorry, but you sound like John McCain right now. Yeah, USA is the leader of the free world, but that doesn't mean we're here to play world police and police the world. Well, I remember Comet Kish in 2003, so 19 years ago, the first day of the Iraq War was on the first day of March Madness, March 20th, 2003. That was the day we invaded Iraq. And CBS had to shift their coverage of March Madness over to ESPN to be able to cover it. And so I don't think a lot of people remember that. I do, because I was in school that day. Usually the first 2 days of March Madness would be over spring break, but when I was in 9th grade, that was not the case, and that was 2003. And I had my mom record March Madness on VHS tapes at home, but we had it set to CBS. And so when they had to preempt it and move it to ESPN, I wasn't able to record it. That's how, I remember that. But I really hope that war coverage does not interrupt March Madness. If there's going to be World War III, then we can wait for April. Maybe it can interrupt the NBA. I agree, Moopert. Ukraine's not even a NATO member. We don't have an official allegiance to them. Our deep state has an allegiance to Ukraine. Oh, yeah. All the major corrupt players in Washington have an allegiance to Ukraine because of the dirty money laundering and foreign policy playground that it's been for them for a decade. That's the reason. That's the real reason they care so much about Ukraine. That's why George Soros cares about Ukraine so much, because the Atlantic Council has major roots in Ukraine. So whenever you see George Soros and Hillary Clinton on one side of an issue, you need to ask yourself, is that really the side of the issue I want to be on? And then we have idiots like Adam Kinzinger, and we're having a lot of neocon warhawks come out now saying we need to start, no-fly zones and like using drone strikes on the Russian convoy and everything. I'm like, come on, guys. It's because so many of our politicians in both parties are owned by the military-industrial complex. And ever since we pulled out of Afghanistan, the military-industrial complex needs an income stream, a revenue stream. They profit off war. They need war. And so they're having their politicians that they own push for war. And it really makes me mad. It really does. I can't stand neocons like Bill Kristol, Jonah Goldberg. I can't stand them. David Frum. They used to be Republicans, but only because it was the Republican Party that welcomed them. But ever since Donald Trump took over the Republican Party and became American First, they no longer had a place there. So now they're back in good graces with the Democrats. The Democrats welcome them with open arms. So the Democrat Party is now the party of the neocon warmongers. Man, I'm going off. I've been banned from websites for this, by the way. I've been banned from blogs and message boards and everything. Bucket878. Have you ever watched the Ice Guys? And if you have, are they legitimate or fake? I don't know who they are. I'm going to Google them. Who are the Ice Guys? They look like touts to me. Because what I'm seeing is betting picks on YouTube. Maybe they don't sell picks. Maybe they're just... but it looks like they're hockey betting people. Never watched them. I'm a Stars fan. I'll watch the Stars, but I don't really watch like hockey if it doesn't involve the Stars. Keith Davis, in store for a lot of upsets. I don't know. It's March Madness is so random. Like, there are years where there's like no upsets at all. And then there's years like, I guess last year counts even though it wasn't a real March Madness. In 2018, for example, you had a lot of upsets in that tournament too. I'm weird. I'll root for upsets in the first round, but ultimately I like to see, the Elite Eight and Final Four have some like the best teams. I'm okay with like first round upsets, but I ultimately want to see like the best teams advance and meet up. So not that I have anything with like Loyola Chicago or George Mason making the Final Four. I don't. I enjoy that, but still, too much David advancing is good. There needs to be a balance. So, I like to see the 1 seed versus 1 seed in the Final Four and so yeah, I'll absolutely be rooting for first round upsets and maybe even second rounds, but we'll see. It's so random though. It's all dependent on matchups. It really is. Like, remember 2017, there was like no upsets at all in the first round. Like, it's all dependent. And it also, what happens in conference tournament also influences whether or not there's going to be some madness in the first couple of rounds, because if all the best teams in the single bid leagues win their conference and are, seeded in the 13 to 16 lines, then there's a higher likelihood of some upsets happening. But if you have a lot of upsets in the conference tournaments and the best teams in these conferences, like if South Dakota State in the Summit League, for example, were to lose and like some sixth place team were to go instead, that would lower the likelihood of something happening. So it really all depends on what happens in conference tournaments. Yep. Tim J, do you have a girlfriend? I do not. It's kind of a weird, the dating scene here in DFW is kind of weird. It's not something I like actively pursue. Not that I wouldn't go for the right person, but I haven't like made it a mission since I moved back here. Mika Hamari, I read today that there's a heightened risk of civil war in the United States. Don't let that happen. Find common ground. Republicans and Democrats. I mean, you're absolutely right. There is definitely a heightened risk of civil war here in the United States. I ultimately think nothing's going to happen, though, until I think the ultimate tripwire will be empty stomachs. As long as people have food in their stomachs, they're not going to be mad enough to fight each other. And there's, guys, I'm going to say this right now. Get ready for $7 a gallon gas. It is coming. And with higher gas prices, means higher food prices. With higher gas prices, means higher fertilizer prices. And with higher fertilizer prices, again, means higher food prices. But 2/3 of the world's fertilizer is produced in Russia and China. What's going to happen when fertilizer prices rise? China and Russia is going to hoard it. That's going to cause food shortages here in the United States. So I'm telling people, stock up on food. Buy bags of rice and beans. Buy jars of peanut butter and stuff like that. I would prepare. I might sound like I'm crazy, but guys, I pay attention to these things. The price of fertilizer is something you need to pay attention to. I could see there being a global food war. When I say food war, I mean like massive increases in food and farming costs, massive increases in fertilizer costs. I could see that happening. And when that happens, then every country stockpiles what they produce. So if China produces most of the world's fertilizer and nitrogen and everything like that, then they're not going to sell it to the United States, and there's going to be massive food shortages here in the U.S. Food security is national security. I've said, Donald Trump said that. I say it. Food security is national security. And there are 6 countries. They're called BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They control a lot when it comes to trade, right? And so, I don't know. I just pay attention to these things. I have a knack for noticing these things, but there could be a global food war and food shortages. Man, I am. Jonah Mickelson says, if I am arb betting, how exactly do the sportsbooks ban me? What if I use different cards and emails for each account? The sportsbooks will notice you're arbing because they know what the lines are at other books. They will know when you're arbing. Really, they'll ban you if you're betting too much. If you're arbing and not really winning a lot of money, they won't care. But if you're betting too much, they will care. I absolutely can compare this to Iraq, Syria, and Vietnam. I absolutely can. Remember the weapons of mass destruction lie we were sold to justify going to Iraq? Remember how we toppled Libya and their dictators? Remember what we did to Syria and Egypt, the Arab Spring? Our State Department has been one foreign policy disaster after another since George Bush. Really. Why should we continue to trust them when it comes to Ukraine? Yeah, I agree with Keith Davis. What interest do we have? Like, why should the United States care? If it bothers Europe so much, then Europe can go fight. European countries can band together. Bucket 78. Rangers Blues game looks like a live under right now. I don't think I ever bet hockey. I've never bet hockey before. Gerardo 77 Coronado wants to know, what is your opinion about VSIN and their shows? I think VSIN is a joke. Total joke. They used to play them at Circa, and I would just laugh at them. Total joke. Didn't they get bought out by... they got bought out by somebody, though. VSIN. Then Anthony McClanahan, if that happens, we can cross that bridge when we get there. I'm not buying into the warmongering fear. I'm not. Rumble. You talk about Rumble. I will probably start a Rumble channel sometime. I agree with Moopert. March Madness is fun when there's chaos early, but you end up getting to see the best teams face off to determine a champion. I agree. Who are the Stars playing tonight? The Kings? I thought about going to the game tonight, but I didn't. I should go to a Stars game soon, though. I haven't been to one in a while. Let me look at their schedule. Tickets really aren't that expensive. What I do I'll just take the train to downtown Dallas. So they're playing the Kings right now. I know that. They're down 1-0. They play the Winnipeg, or wait, no. They play the Winnipeg Jets on the road. So they play the New York Rangers on March 12th. I'm not going to do that one. I might know. Man, they have so many road games. What's the deal? It's like they play the Rangers, but that's sandwiched by 4 road games each. And the Rangers, I'm not going to go on March 12th. That's a Champions Saturday. March 22nd against the Edmonton Oilers. I might go to that one. Yeah. Man, what's with all these road games? Jeez. So many road games. But yeah, how about that? March 22nd against Edmonton. I'll go to that game. Sound good? Do I have any empathy for victims of a war in Ukraine? Absolutely. The Ukrainian people didn't ask for this. Yeah, I feel sorry for them. It's not their fault. But their government created the conditions for this to happen. I've been saying there's no good guys. The Ukraine government is bad and corrupt, and so is the Russian government. There's no good guys. Yeah, I feel bad for the Ukrainian people. They didn't ask for this, but their government sold them out. Their government sold them out. Noob Sabot says, I've been told rolling over wager on team in March Madness is better than betting the same team on a future bet. Yes, that is true. It depends. It depends, though. I'm assuming you're doing this on the money line, and it depends on who they play. For example, if the 15 seed upsets a 2 seed, then the 7 seed is going to have an easier path than they had before, and therefore their money line price is going to change. So it really depends on how the bracket plays out. Comet Kish is right. We are going to get $7 gallon gas, and that's a feature, not a bug for the Green New Deal pushers want expensive gas because they believe if gas is expensive, then more people are going to demand alternative energy sources. It's a means to an end for them. They want high gas prices. They do. Why do you think they shut down the Keystone Pipeline and are not letting oil leases be renewed or begun? Why? Because they want high gas prices so they can push their Green New Deal. Feature, not a bug. I finally agree with something Anthony McClanahan said. He says, what's crazy is that Americans don't realize that Americans will be at war with Russia in a month. They have no choice. I agree that eventually Americans troops will be deployed to Ukraine to fight Russia. I agree. I don't know if a month timeline might be too soon, but I think the decision's already been made. They're just trying to drum up public support for it. That's what it's all about. It's going to happen. American blood is going to be spilled in Ukraine. So I've always said, how about the people who support putting boots on the ground send their own sons to go die in that region? If you support putting boots on the ground, good. You go fight. You go sign up. You go send your son to go die over there. If it's that important to you. Like, would you die on behalf of Ukraine? I know I wouldn't. I mean, there's probably worse places to be than Texas when it comes to a food shortage. KBono100 wants to be, why is MLB the most interesting thing to watch? To me, NBA is most interesting to watch because a lot happens in a short amount of time. Just because I like baseball, I I really don't watch the NBA until the playoffs, and even then, I just feel like the NBA is not what it was when I was growing up. I feel like the players are too selfish. I feel like they're too arrogant these days. I don't like the whole players being GMs. I don't. I just can't get into the NBA. I can't. I love watching the NBA with my cousin Ryan. We'll watch the NBA and I like it then, but I can't watch it by myself. Bobby Robeson makes a good point. America's population can afford to lose a food war. It will be beneficial against COVID. I see where you're coming at there, Bobby. That was a good one. Good one. There's absolutely polarization in this country, but it happened well before Trump. The polarization happened well before Trump. Trump has made a scapegoat for a lot of things. Luis Barrios, are you moving to Las Vegas? If so, that's good. Especially now they don't have the masks and stuff anymore. Oh man, I just am smart. I worked in broadcast TV for 10 years. I know what propaganda is. I know how it works. I would not believe a single thing coming out of the mouths of anybody you see on TV news. I worked in the industry. I know they lie to you. It's called programming for a reason. Appreciate it, Luis Barrios, though. Farzan Hashmi with a great comment. All the policymakers are heavily invested in green companies, so therefore, that's why they want expensive gas. Moving to Las Vegas video. Oh, you like that video? Yeah. I filmed that last May, I think. I just remember it was really windy that day because I ran on St. Rose Parkway in Henderson that day, and the running against the wind sucked. I agree, Moopert. The NBA has evolved it's evolved in who can hit the most threes. I agree. That's awesome, Luis Barrios. You know, I could have stayed in Las Vegas when I got the job I have now. I mean, I'm a remote worker. I can work anywhere. One of the main reasons I didn't want to stay in Las Vegas was because of the mask mandates and stuff like that. And I just wanted to come back and be around my family. It was just those two things. I could have stayed, though. I thought about it. I mean, I would have moved. Maybe one day I'll move back. Never say never. My lease in this apartment ends in September. I mean, the thing is, moving is expensive, though. That's a problem. Yeah, I think the A's are going to move to Las Vegas eventually. And the park in Summerlin is nice, but there's no roof on it. I mean, too hot in the summer. Jonah Mickelson, do you think statistics is a valuable major to get for the future of jobs? I do, yes. But just make sure you pair it with computer science. Statistics is great, but you need to know how to apply it in the computer world. Las Vegas was definitely lonely and lame during the COVID era. It sucked. It was definitely not the same. All the mass garbage and shutdowns. pre-COVID, it was a great place to be. Oh man, if you want to save and buy a condo, good luck. Housing prices are just too... the reason that the housing prices are out of control is because multinational hedge funds and investment bankers and everything like that are buying... They need to put their money somewhere, so they're buying up real estate, tangible assets, and then they're renting it out. So when you hear these people talk about how they put in a bid for a house and then someone put in a offer $100K over the asking price with no inspection, those are multinational hedge funds and stuff like that buying up all the real estate, pricing out the average person. I think the middle class is being squeezed out of home ownership these days. And it's sad. I don't know if I'll ever be able to buy a house. And it's not like I don't make a decent amount of money. I do, but how am I supposed to save up for a down payment with inflation and all that? And the cost of housing just keeps going up and up and up. I might never buy a house, but condos are just expensive. I know the condos across from the Red Rock, across the 215 Beltway from the Red Rock, they don't look like they're anything that special, but those go for like $600,000. Yeah, you could have bought, like, back in 2010, you could have bought like a nice house or condo in Las Vegas for like $80,000 during the housing bust, but I don't think there's going to be a housing bust. I don't. Because the housing bust in 2008 happened because it was the people that held the mortgages then were people. But today, all the people holding the mortgages are hedge funds and investment banks and stuff like that, multinationals. They're not gonna default. There's gonna be no bust. They want to turn the populace into eternal renters is what's happening. But the dream of home ownership is it's dwindling. And I make much more than the average American does, so I don't see how the average American can buy a house. Oh yeah, moving from California, I did the same thing. Bucket 78. I saw a video about you making models. I went all the way back to the beginning of the hockey season, wrote down every game to date. And for the over 1.5 in the first period, it's up 27 units. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. K Bono 100. In the future, manual work will be very important. When food prices skyrocket, people have to grow it themselves. I agree. People who have the means to grow their own food, produce their own food, so like farmers, ranchers, they're in a good spot right now. I mean, my second bathroom here in this apartment is just full of like bags of rice and beans and peanut butter, jugs of water. People will call me a prepper. People will call me a tinfoiler, but you never know. You don't want to be stuck in a situation where you have no, where, like I said, we're a lot closer than people think to a global food war. No, I think Luis Barrios is fine. He's not trolling. But, geez. Wow, what time is it? 8:33? So I've been on for about an hour. So I wonder if I'm going to get a response from BetRivers or the representative who represents BetRivers. I do. It's a good question, right? Because they really want me to remove all mentions of BetRivers from my channel, and that's just not going to happen. Like I said, family-friendly, double-barrel middle finger to BetRivers. They can pound sand. They can... I would use much stronger language on this channel, but I don't want the video to get shut down or deleted. I like what Luis Barrios is saying. I'm glad Luis Barrios is here. Man. So I have done absolutely nothing the last 3 days. No gym, no running, no nothing. But tomorrow I'll get back at it. I'm going to do a 5-week post-marathon training plan. Go back to the gym. I want to do Ironman Texas in April 2023. I'm going to look into that. But Anyway, I did not get a warning shot from BetRivers. It came out of nowhere, but I honestly don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Yep. Yeah, they will ding you if you use too much foul language in your videos. I don't use foul language on the stream. Strongest conference going into the tournament. I mean, it's the Big 12. What's happened to the Big 12, though? There's talks that it could have got 9 out of 10 teams at one point, but there's just too much separation. And when I say separation, really, teams like Oklahoma and West Virginia, Kansas State, they just weren't able to win enough games. The top of the league won too many games. But yeah, the Big 12's not going to get the most number of teams, but they're the strongest conference top to bottom, and I don't think anybody's going to debate that. There is, when your worst team is West Virginia, who's still like on Ken Palm, I think they're like still in the top 50. Oh, wait, no, they're at 73 now, so they've fallen a bit. But when your worst team is number 73 in Ken Palm, I mean, and everybody else is in the top 50, that's a pretty good league. Pick dogs absolutely had something to do with it. Pick dogs absolutely had something to do with BetRivers getting upset. I don't care about if Pick Dogs is butthurt. I don't care if BetRivers is butthurt. I don't. They can sue me if they want to. If they have that much of a problem with it, they can take legal action. What are they gonna do? Like, what assets do I have? Like, what are they gonna do? Take my money in my bank account? Make me pay a settlement? Like, what are they gonna do? Sue me for defamation? Stars just made it 1-1. That's good. I can't actually. I have to be a Spectrum. You can only watch the Stars on Spectrum here in the DFW area, which sucks because I don't have Spectrum. It's too it's too expensive. Like, I get AT&T, the fastest AT&T internet for like way cheaper than I would get it from Spectrum. I haven't gotten any money from BetRivers in months anyway, so I don't care. I mean, I think what makes people mad is that what's the saying from, who was it? I forgot who said this quote, but it is easier for someone to believe a lie, continue believing a lie, than admit they have been fooled. And I think that really applies here in the Ukraine situation. So many people have bought into the propaganda and brainwashing that over the past week in terms of Ukraine that they get mad at people who point out the strings on the puppets. That's all I'm doing. All I'm doing when I talk about Ukraine is I point out the strings on the puppets. That's what I call it. Once you see the strings on the marionettes, you will never get back to a point where you'll not be able to see the strings. Right? So that's all I'm doing. I'm just pointing out the strings on the puppets. And people don't like that because I feel like a lot of people are so entrenched in their positions that they view anything that goes against it as someone who is crazy. And I've been banned from message boards for these things. Oh man, where am I going with this? So what I'm trying to say is if you question any of the constructs, if you point out the strings on the puppets, if you notice a collective distribution of specifically repeated patterns, you're labeled a Russian apologist and a Putin lover. I'm not saying that Putin's a good guy in this scenario, people. I'm not. I just think that Zelensky is doing what he can to avoid having the same fate that Muammar Gaddafi had. Top 4 teams on the eyeball test, Bobby Robeson. I am going with Purdue. Purdue's definitely one just because they're so deep. I know they've had some losses, but Purdue's a good team. They're deep. I'm still on the fence about Arizona. They have definitely risen to the occasion this year, but I'm still on the fence. Purdue is so deep, though. And Baylor. As much as it pains me to say it, I think Baylor is definitely a top 4 team. So Purdue and Baylor. I'm still hesitant on Gonzaga, especially with the way they got destroyed the other night. I'm hesitant, It just seems like there's something missing with them. But Purdue and Baylor are definitely 2 of the ones I would name. I still think you got to go with Duke. And nobody's really talking about them, but you got to talk about, I think Villanova's worthy of discussion. Kentucky, worthy of discussion. So really those are my 6. Baylor, Kentucky, Duke, Villanova, Purdue. But Purdue is definitely the deepest team. They are the deepest team. They have 10 guys that are solid, 2 deep at every position. Donald Traub is right. We have a sunk cost fallacy when it comes to war coming to aid. No, the strings on the puppets, what are the strings? It's every single piece of the global establishment being aligned on the same side of this issue. Big tech, Hollywood, Madison Avenue, politicians of both parties, major players like Hillary Clinton, George Soros, social media, the same people who 2 years ago were lecturing us on not wear masks so you don't kill grandma are the same people telling us to stand with Ukraine. All of the establishment is on the same side of an issue. That makes me want to question it. And I believe I am right. We are being pushed to support an American ground war in Ukraine to fight Russia. That is the puppet strings. They are trying to manipulate people into supporting a ground invasion with U.S. troops to protect the Ukraine money laundering schemes and foreign policy playground of the deep state. How you doing, Rashim? Kbono 100. How was your marathon? What part was the hardest to run? It was great, and I actually got faster as the race went along. Everyone talks about the last 6 miles are hard, and they were harder than the first 20, but I mean, there was nothing major. I would say the only part that I kind of had an issue with was mile 22 or so. My quad started to get a little bit tight, like I thought I was getting ready to cramp. But I just drank a couple cups of Gatorade at the next stop, and it went away. But I was surprised at myself, because the first 3 miles I was like, I'm going too fast. I'm not going to be able to keep this up. But I didn't slow down. I got faster as the race went along. My fastest split was my last one, and my slowest split was my first one. Kbono 100 wants to know, how are you doing, Rashim, by the way? I think I already said that, but I'm going to say it again. Kbono 100 wants to know, what's your opinion on esports betting? I don't know enough about esports to even do that. I don't even know where you'd begin. I just think the whole concept of esports is hilarious. Like, these overweight or scrawny nerds that don't work out, calling themselves e-athlete. Oh, get out of here. So you can play a video game good. Ooh. Seriously, I remember when I lived in Seattle, I used to walk to work every day, and I had to walk by Key Arena every day, and they were having I want to say it was like a League of Legends or something like that. Dota 2, some video game championships at Key Arena. And I just remember walking one morning to work and walking by the line of people trying to get into Key Arena for it. And I was like, you were either really fat and overweight or you're ultra scrawny that looked like you never lifted a weight in your life. There was no middle ground. When did I ever say Zelensky is a war criminal and human rights abuser? Never. I said that Zelensky is a corrupt son of a bitch that sold his country out and decided to play with the United States deep state. I never said he's a war criminal and human rights abuser. Talk about putting words in my mouth. Zelensky hoarded his country out to the corrupt money laundering scams. He sold his country out. Now, I'm not saying that means he deserves to be invaded, but he's not a good guy. I'm not streaming anything during March Madness. I learned my lesson from last year. Screw that. Screw that. Bucket 78. Pick Dogs reminds me of high schoolers trying to be cool. I agree. Wager Talk reminds me of just total idiot clowns being clowns. Keith Davis is not wrong. I'm trying to talk about bets. Luis Barrios, I just don't watch the NBA enough to know those things. But I do really like Alperen Sengun, who's coming out of the West. Can the Lakers get 8? Who cares about the Lakers? I hate how so much focus is on the Lakers when they suck. Let's focus on teams that are actually good, like the Suns. But the Suns don't have a national fan base or a megastar on their team, so we can't talk about the Suns or the who else is a player in the West? The Jazz. Can't talk about the Jazz. No, we have to talk about the LeBrons of the world. We have to talk about the James Hardens of the world. Ugh, spare me. It's like the best teams in the NBA are the teams that are like teams instead of run by one guy who wants to play GM at the same time. I watch the NBA with my cousin. That's it. I'll talk about the NBA with my cousin. All right. Anthony McClanahan and Rob E. are the same trolls from last year during March Madness. FYI. Yep. Anthony McClanahan and Robbie E. are the same trolls from last year during March Madness that tried to scam this channel. And I called them out on their stream and made them mad. So we will not be seeing their messages anymore. I'm not muting them because I disagree with them on Ukraine. This is a free speech channel. I'm muting them because they tried to scam me last year. This is a free speech channel. But anyway, I'll go to 9 o'clock and then I'll call it a night. But yeah, I mean, what I know about the NBA is that the Heat are the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Yet everybody wants to talk about the Knicks, who aren't even in the top 10. And then in the Western Conference, the Suns are the 1 seed, but everyone wants to talk about the Lakers, who are 27 and 34. So, I just hate NBA coverage. It's all about like individuals rather than teams. And I've always said the NBA should just cut to the chase and turn into a one-on-one league because it's all about individuals instead of teams. That's what the NBA has become. I'm not wrong. Anybody who disagrees with that is blind. Seriously, the NBA needs to become a one-on-one league. At the very least, contract. There's too many teams, and now you have there's not enough talent to go around. 30 teams is too many. Teams are too spread thin. So what should happen is contraction. Who do I have tonight, Rick, at picks? I don't have anybody. I haven't made a sports bet in almost a year. It's been a long time. Appreciate it, Luis Barrios. I had to mute those two clowns because they tried to scam this channel last year. And they caused me to cancel my trip home to go to my sister's 30th birthday party because they tried to scam me and lie to me. And when I finally wised up and caught on to their scheme, I called them out on my stream and destroyed a business deal that they were trying to put together. And they still hate me for it to this day, so that's why a year later they still try to troll this channel. All right, so did Bryant end up winning? Yep, and Wagner. So the quarterfinals in the Northeast Conference are set. We're going to have Bryant taking on Mount St. Mary's, who was the upset winner last year in the Northeast Conference. And then we're going to have Wagner taking on Long Island, who was an upset winner in the Northeast Conference back in 2018. So Wagner or Bryant, they're both equally good. Either one of those teams would be a great representative for the Northeast Conference in March Madness. I really do think one of those two teams could avoid the play-in round, which is where the Northeast Conference champion generally winds up every year. But those two teams, especially Wagner, are good enough to avoid Dayton if things shake out properly. Just because I haven't really been active with my models, Push wants to know what their scam was. They said that they were with Barstool Sports and wanted to pay me money to do a show for the remainder of March Madness. And at first I believed it, but then I realized after a while I was being played. Unfortunately, it was too late. I had already canceled my trip home to go see my sister for her 30th birthday, but I let them have it. They were trying to, how do I put it? They were trying to get me to sign away parts of my channel to them so they could make money off of it. And when I caught on to that, I called them out in the middle of my stream that night and destroyed that what they were trying to put together. And they still hate me for it. Yeah, Bobby Robeson is right. NBA has been an isolation league. But yeah, it's about who can create super teams now. And there's too many teams. So if one team can acquire 2 or 3 top-level talent, and then all the other teams are at a major disadvantage. There's not enough top-level talent to go around. Keith Davis, I can't tell the difference between the NBA and China. That's a good one. Yep, the NBA has sold its soul to China. Oh, yeah. So what the scam was that those Rob E. and Anthony McClanahan were a part of last year is they were trying to steal my channel from me. They were trying to trick me into signing away my channel and some of the concepts and content, and I wised up. They were trying to get me to partner with their crappy... First they said they were Barstool Sports to get my attention, but then they said, oh, we're actually with Sports Grid. And then I was like, okay, you lied to me there. Yeah, oh yeah. And so what they were doing is that they were broadcasting my channel for a bunch of investors because they had... I knew the scam, but I played along. I played aloof, right? So I caught on to the scam after a while, but they told me that they were showing my stream to a bunch of investors that wanted to invest in my channel, but I knew what they were really up to. I really knew what they were up to is they were trying to sell my branding to these investors and not me. Like I said, they're trying to get me to sign away they're trying to steal a channel from me. And so knowing that there are investors watching my stream at the time, I turned to the camera and started calling these people out by name and called them scam artists, liars, swindlers. Like, it was a total... You think I went hard on BetRivers earlier? I was just totally losing it at these guys. And then their deal fell through and everything. The whole thing blew up. Like, they flew people into Las Vegas and everything for this. Like, there's a lot of money, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people involved with this. And I played them like a fiddle. Once I caught on to the fact that it was a scam, because they were having people like text me saying, hey, I flew into Las Vegas. Can you pick me up from the airport? Like, they brought people into like Las Vegas for this. And I knew what was going on, but I pretended that I didn't just so I could call them out at the right time. I was trashing them. And then I was getting angry text messages from people like, how dare you call us out like that? You are in a world of... And these people to this day still will blow up my phone while I'm streaming. And like we said, they'll troll the chat in my channel. I know who they are. Maybe we'll see a money ball for the NBA. So I did watch the 3-point contest with my cousin a couple weeks ago. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, the scam started on the night of the second round NCAA tournament games last year. I was streaming during those, and that's when they like started emailing me saying, hey, we're with Barstool. We want to partner with you for the rest of March Madness. And, I was like, okay. And they said, we'll pay you a few $1,000s for it. And, at the time I wasn't working. So I was like, okay, a few $1,000s, yeah. If it just to slap some logos on my stream, yeah, I can do that. And so that was on like a Monday night, I think. And by Thursday night, I had caught on, but I didn't melt down and call them out on the stream until Saturday night. So for about 48 hours, I pretended like, I was going along with it when I really knew it was all a scam. Keith Davis. Are you a fan of Jason Whitlock? I am. I think he is dead on when it comes to social issues in sports. Yeah, Moopert's that's a good 3-point contest. Isn't that any NBA game these days? You're right. And I've always said that the NBA All-Star game is a glorified dunk contest. No one plays defense, so it's just all about who can create the, dunks. And the NBA All-Star game's a joke. The only All-Star game worth watching is the MLB. Push, I deleted it just because I literally was screaming at the top of my lungs and using profanity and everything. I deleted it, Push. I don't think I have it anymore. It was something else. And seeing the people in the chat was hilarious because they were just like, keep going, man. Don't let up. I could write a book on this scam they tried to pull on me, guys. I've only touched the tip of the iceberg on it. But anyway, I'm going to call it quits at the top of the hour. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I will keep you guys updated on BetRivers. Luis Barrios, I don't think you should follow me in terms of who to bet on. I think you should follow my videos based on how to bet, how to make bets yourself instead of who to follow. But I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I will try to be back next Wednesday. Hopefully we'll be deep into championship week by then and we can talk a lot about college basketball, betting opportunities, everything like that next Wednesday. I'll hopefully be able to touch up on BetRivers. I will hopefully have a model video or two out by that time. And family friendly, double barrel, middle finger. for BetRivers on the way out. I appreciate everyone, especially the new people like Luis Barrios. I do. So I will see everybody hopefully next Wednesday, March 9th, and hopefully I'll have a model video or two uploaded by then. Thanks, everybody. I will see you later.